Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing, testing. Testing, testing, testing. Hey, Simpa. How's the audio sound? Is it alright? Awesome. Yeah, I'm alright. Just got done with some yard work this morning. It was really hot. We got started around 7:30 and it was already 96 degrees outside. Fahrenheit, that is. Hey, Enigma. Yeah, that's funny how we form attachments with these NPCs sometimes, right? I was just watching some of Stu's oldest stuff, his Book of Sable, his very first series that he did when he accidentally killed Lydia, and he was like racked with guilt about it. But he let it fly. Yeah, so it only took like an hour or so, but I was just drenched in sweat. It was already so hot. I had to come back in, take a shower, a nice cold shower, and then go back to bed for a couple hours. Yeah, I usually run some kind of a follower mod that usually sets followers as essential by default, and I usually don't change that. Yeah, I don't think anybody really can function all that well in this kind of heat, honestly. My wife and I are going kind of stir crazy. Or with the pandemic and everything out and about, it's like you can't just, go see a movie or something. All that stuff's closed down. We used to go for like long walks and stuff when the weather is nice, but now we're kind of stuck in the house. But it's nice and cool in Skyrim most of the time, so that provides a little bit of an escape, at least for me. Yeah, Janessa is a cool follower. Nice spell sword layout there. All right, so we got about 5 people. I think that's pretty good for now. I think some other people will start filtering in probably when Magus ends his stream. I really didn't want to overlap, but I was kind of planning on noon for a little while, and this is kind of the slot that I have open today. So just is what it is for now. Well, that's fine. I don't want to step on any toes over there or anything. All right, so let's go ahead and switch our screen to the in-game view here. So the first thing I wanted to go over was that I added a whole bunch of new mods, and a lot of them are going to have quite a big impact on gameplay. First and foremost, I have added the Mysticism magic overhaul with the Ordinator patch, so it... Too many streams today, decisions to sit... Yeah, I know. There are a lot of... Well, the thing is it gives everybody like a nice place to hang out. I know a lot of people, people close to me, especially, they're feeling kind of isolated in the current environment that the world's in right now. So it's nice to have a place to come hang out and just forget about stuff. So yeah, So I have the Mysticism spell overhaul with the Ordinator patch. That's working quite nicely. I was watching one of Magus's streams, and he had just gone through one of the ritual quests for the Winterhold College quest line, and unlocked some of the master level spells, and he was casting them with one hand. And yeah, too many streams going on in so little time. Yeah, I know. You kind of gotta get in there and stake your claim early. So we were watching Magus's stream, and he was casting master level spells with one hand, and my eyes lit up, and I got all kinds of fun ideas for that. And that's largely what motivated me to go out and try to get this fit into my load order. I think Strudel actually was having some of the same evil thoughts about things that she could do with one-handed master level spells. So that's awesome. It also seems to work just fine along the Apocalypse spell package, which I also want to keep. The combination of these two packages along with Ordinator means that you can now cast master level spells automatically using Okado's Recital because it only needs one hand, and Mysticism also technically allows you to dual cast master level spells, not just use two hands. So that allows you to hook those master level spells up to things like Spell Scribe, or the alteration perk that allows you to convert a dual cast spell into a lesser power. If I can find what that perk was, it's like way up in the top right of the alteration perk tree. The Monarch, maybe? Oh no, Arcane Thesis. Nope. I think it was. No, it wasn't. I don't remember what it was called. But it did let you convert a dual cast. Sorry, just trying to get caught up. Hey, Caladran. Good to see you. Yeah, but there is there's a perk in here somewhere that allows you to dual cast any kind of spell, hit the power that allows you to convert it into a minor level power, and there's the ritual. Now I realize why Stu dropped it from his Ashaba character. We're going to deal with it for a while. That's okay. Now, I've also chosen to stick with Mysticism because it has some really cool monk-style spells, things that like sort of mimic like what a meditation would be, sort of like an iron body type meditation to prep for battle, things that allow you to heal slowly over time before you go into battle, and then things like Scale Form here that I have highlighted, which actually increases your unarmed damage by 10. And that'll be really useful to hook up to Okado's Recital once we get there. But I also have figured out, finally, how to get Mysticism hooked up to Spell Research, which is another great mod that I love. So if we equip Scale Form, which is a Mysticism, a spell that's added by Mysticism, and then I activate Spell Research, I can analyze the spell that I have equipped, and it gives me all the categories that this spell belongs to. I can then go into starting research on that, and then once I'm in research mode, I can start casting that spell to gain levels in that school, so alteration in this case. Or I can choose to go ahead and perform research for however many hours, and I'll gain experience in those categories that were pointed out by the analyze spell option from before. And then once we have a whole bunch of research in all those different spell categories, we can start composing theses on... That's theses, not feces. Get your mind out of the gutter, people. We can start composing different leveled theses and combining them to create new spells via this compose spell option here. And that just provides a really organic way of coming up with new spells that doesn't involve just going to different mages, different court wizards, and buying a bunch of different spells. Oh, let's see. Permaban. Uh-oh, is the wind dropping the ban hammer? Yeah, just sometimes you gotta step away, right? Okay, so I'm really excited about that. I can learn new spells very organically. Apocalypse spells are available, Mysticism spells are available, and all the vanilla spells with that have now been altered by Mysticism also works. Another happy side effect of this is that the changes to the vanilla Conjure Familiar, which was given to us randomly via the Unbound random start. We can now cast that. We weren't able to before. Well, I'm actually mentally exhausted now from the research that I did on the scale form spell, so I'm going to need to sleep before I can get that 20 magicka back. But once I'm well rested, I can actually cast that, and it actually is very useful. Okay, so now we get into the fun stuff here. I started thinking after the mysticism stuff, that was kind of my top priority. How can I flesh out the unarmed combat a little bit more and make this really a whole lot more kung fu based? And I found some stuff that will actually enable me to be a little more competitive against enemies at legendary difficulty with empty hands here. So the first thing I did is I decided I didn't want to mess with that dagger and shield trick to empty either hand. And I found a mod that allows me with the press of one hotkey to empty both hands. So that's super convenient. What I did next is I found a mod called Unarmed Block and Bash, I believe. So that adds another hotkey that allows you to switch to a defensive stance. And as you can see, he kind of put his one arm down there. So his right arm still stays the same, but his left arm actually allows you to block and bash. This is huge for unarmed gameplay. Bashing is, in my mind, the most powerful melee tool of any melee character. And that is because it's the fastest. I believe it's even faster than a dagger swipe. So you can interrupt most of your enemy's attacks with this. It's very, very consistently. And it also very consistently causes a stagger. So, yeah, you're going to beat out your enemy's attack with this, and you're going to cause a stagger, so you're going to be able to unleash your most powerful attacks against them, and they can't do anything about it. I've also installed an Ordinator patch for this, so I will get the benefits of that energy wave that comes out and causes elemental damage, and I'll show that off in a minute, but I want to go through some of these other mods as well. Simpa, yes, it does. That's one of the benefits of having this mod, is that bash actually does unarmed damage according to Ordinator. So it's going to do a lot more damage as well as all the benefits of the actual bash itself. Obsession with shield bashes, yeah. So this mod is actually really simple in the way that it works. It just kind of adds an invisible shield to your character. Just imagine him having a shield, but it has no mesh or texture on it. And then it does some things in the background to kind of get it hooked up to the unarmed damage and things like that. But yeah, this has become a must-have for me. I've also gone ahead and installed the mod. I think it's called like Offhand Ordinator patch or something like that. So that allows you to have anything in your offhand, a spell, a shield, or even, just this defensive stance. And it allows any unarmed attack from your right hand to trigger that Ordinator. It's in the light hand tree. I can't remember what it's called. It's like Hissing Dragon or something like that. Where's the light armor tree? I keep missing it. There we go. Which is kind of the goal perk that you're trying to get to with an unarmed Ordinator build. So yeah, unarmed attack, unleash a shockwave that deals the chosen damage type to all targets in front of you. This says it requires 2 free hands. It does not now. You can have something in your offhand and it will still trigger. That kind of enables it, this kind of combat gameplay for me. Actually, let's go ahead and do a quick save here, and I am going to player.advanced skill light armor 1,000,000. Yeah. And I did a quick save right before this because I am not going to play with this. I just wanted to demonstrate some things here. A lot of stamina so I can do a bunch of power attacks. Sorry for the drum beats there. Dance if you gotta dance. And we'll go with fire. So yeah, as you can see, it kind of projects an energy wave out in front. This is kind of why everybody loves Unarmed Ordinator so much. But now we can have a spell in our left hand, and we still get the energy burst there. We can have our defensive stance here. We can do our jab. That does not trigger that energy wave, but the regular attack and the other one does. So all good stuff. Leo Shiki saw the sun damage with the hissing dragon. Yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff that you can do with this. Last but not least, on the unarmed combat front, I added power attack on animations that kind of make it so that Jagasta here is a little more kung fu-y. So the left and right regular attacks are the same claw swipe as we've always had. I considered changing that to the punches, but I think that as a Khajiiti monk, he would use his claws quite a bit in his martial art. But now with we'll do a left power attack. Oh! Did you guys see that? That was awesome. He did a spinning kick. Should I do it again? I'm going to do it again. And it even gets the energy wave out in front of him too. Right attack is just a roundhouse kick. Oh, that's the Imperious thing. So yeah, roundhouse kick to the head, and then if you do a both hands power attack, butterfly kick. Oh, and then you get a power wave for each one of those attacks. Now, the hurt box or the actual areas and active frames of the attack don't completely match up with these new animations, but I think that's an okay trade-off. The combat isn't going to seem quite as responsive, but it works. I've done a bunch of play testing with it, and I'm happy with it. So there's all that. I'm very happy with that. This is going to be so fun. So with this, I can already tell you one of my favorite combos is going to be the 1-2 roundhouse. So in defensive stance here, you do a little back fist jab here to get the stagger. Follow that into a regular right attack, and then you can cancel, just like with a melee weapon, you can cancel a regular attack with a power attack. So the old 1-2 roundhouse. A lot of damage. I'm going to need to work on my stamina pool because that just about wiped me out, and the roundhouse attack is really oh yeah, I do love fighting games, so I kind of, you can probably tell by the terminology I'm using, like with the hurt boxes and active frames and recovery frames and things like that. Yeah, that's all Street Fighter terminology and Tekken terminology. That's kind of where I'm getting a lot of these ideas from, and a lot of the combat styles and the combos and stuff. So yeah, I need to work on my stamina pool because this combo is going to leave me with very little stamina, and he has a lot of recovery. That roundhouse is very slow. My one way out of that is to do a TK dodge. Nerd, yeah, totally. Only the true nerds add math into video games, and that's where my love of fighting games come into play there. So yeah, that slow roundhouse kick takes up a lot of stamina, but I can TK dodge out of it to cancel and get out and get some invincibility, some iframes, and get out of there. But that's going to eat up a lot of stamina. And so that's going to be a priority as I level up. Yeah, the animation mods, I agree. It's largely just an aesthetic thing for the most part, but I don't think that you can really underestimate the value of the aesthetics when you're building a character, especially in Skyrim. A lot of people like to harp on things like DSR, dual sheath redux, or the newer ecotone. Just little things that make your character stand out a little more. I think that anything that makes you feel closer to your character, anything that helps flesh out the vision that you had in your head with the character when you begin, is really going to enhance roleplay and really get more enjoyment out of the game. So don't feel ashamed if you're going for just a bunch of aesthetic mods. There's value to them. Okay, so that's the Kung Fu stuff out of the way. And then, let's see, I also have signature equipment. I didn't see Jagasta becoming an expert craftsman of any kind. But signature equipment allows his robes to level up, which levels up his armor rating, which should also level up his unarmed damage once he gets there and unlocks those perks. I've also added a whole bunch of armor and weapon mods. I did add the lighting isn't really great right now. Maybe some face light will add to it. Let's go stand by the fire. I did add the first thing almost that I decided Jagasta needed were some prayer beads, some monk prayer beads, so we got those added. This was actually kind of an adventure, finding this. The only one that I found was on the LE Nexus page, and I saw a lot of people complaining in the posts section that once you find these in-game, they're named Anal Beads of Serenity. Anal Beads of Serenity. That's not appropriate, is it? So, yeah, the mod author was actually forced to create another... Hey, Scotty. Was forced to create another version of the mod with a more appropriate name to them. I renamed them using Jackson's renamer anyway. But yeah, with signature equipment, the more you wear even just regular clothing and jewelry, those will actually increase in value. The armor and weapons will become stronger. Jewelry and clothing becomes more valuable. What inspired the armor and equipment and all this stuff? I actually have to mention Bayofish. I was watching one of his streams, one of his modding sessions, and afterwards he kind of gave us a little tour of a couple of his characters, and just to see the kind of thought that he put into how to line up his character on screen with what the character felt like, or what he felt like his character should be in his head. And he enabled that through a bunch of different mods and everything, and the armor and equipment stuff, and even the animation mods, and all of that were all inspired kind of by his characters, which were really, really cool, beloved characters. Yeah, that's why Skyrim players suffer from restart-itis. Bond with them quickly to avoid restart it. Yeah. I think I'm gonna stick with this guy for a while. Put a lot of love into him, and I got some ideas for where his journey is going to take him. And looking forward to how he surprises me. So yeah, a bunch of armor and weapons, and that was mostly not to flesh out Jagasta, but I also wanted to apply that same thought to NPCs and followers. So I am also running a mod called Immersive World Encounters, and Jagasta will encounter followers that he can bring along with him. I'm running interesting NPCs, so there are going to be a lot of very interesting NPCs that we can recruit as followers. What Immersive World Encounters does, among a lot of other things, it adds a bunch of random encounters to the world, like when you're out on the road and stuff. And one of those is that you may encounter a follower that you've recruited in the past on their own mission, doing their own thing, which I think is really awesome. It kind of adds life to those followers, and they're on their own epic journey, much like Jagasta is on his. That makes it feel like, to me, that Jagasta's just living in this world. He's just one small part of it, instead of, in the vanilla game, you eventually become this all-powerful dominator, deity, master of all, super powerful guy. With Immersive Encounters and, Immersive World Encounters, I keep saying that wrong, and signature equipment, because signature equipment actually does apply to NPCs and followers. The longer they have this unique equipment equipped, the stronger it will get. So I added a whole bunch of weapon and armor mods to help flesh out those characters. So as we encounter those characters that will join Jagasta for some brief periods of time, I'm going to go ahead and try to put as much effort into the look and feel of that character as I did into Jagasta. Mic stutter? Is anybody else getting that? When I go back and watch the archives of these streams, there is some gross mic stuff at the very beginning. I thought it was the YouTube encoding for the archives, because in my tests, when I'm listening to my own stream, it sounds fine. I wonder if I'm having a cable issue. If I fiddle with the cable, is that getting better, worse? Anything? I'm still talking? Does it sound okay? I mean, it could just be a connection thing. We only have so much bit rate to push out 1080p 60 FPS feed. Seems the same, huh? How are we doing now? I'm really moving the cable a lot. Is it getting to the point where it's like you can't understand me at all? Well, can understand me fine? It's just some stutter? Yeah, it's annoying. Is it just the mic, or is it the sound, the game sound too? If it's just the mic, then there's some things that I can do. If it's the whole thing, then it's probably a connection that I don't have much power over. Great voice for voicing, thanks. When it's not stuttering, I guess, right? Game is fine. Okay, so I hope it's not the microphone. It's a nice Blue Yeti microphone. I will try switching out the cable for it. Just have to order up a new one, I suppose. But for now, if you can hear me fine, then I guess we'll just deal with it. I do go back and watch the archives to see how everything was and think if I can do anything to improve the experience, but yeah, maybe that's something I can do. Just get a better cable for the microphone. All right, so let's move on, shall we? Well, it's also a USB mic, so if the CPU is like struggling on something in game, that could also cause the microphone to stutter. That's something worth thinking about. I do actually have a pop filter on my microphone. I got this, big dark circular thing right in front of my face right now. Let's see. Okay, yeah, the other things I wanted to go through is this add item menu. This makes it really convenient to flesh out characters with the weapons and armor that you want. I think I saw somebody mention it earlier on in chat, but with the mic stutter issues, I'm losing it here. Yeah, it's useful even for vanilla stuff. Getting the right weapons and armor is an important thing for fleshing out a character. A lot of people worry about it being too cheaty. I always point out like the base armor and damage values at level 1. They're only a few points off from, Iron all the way up to Daedric. It's not until you start adding in perk points and scaling the levels in those skills that you really start seeing a big difference between the damage output or the armor levels of those higher level items. So in my mind, I don't see it as cheating at all. You get the gear that you want, that your character is going to stick with, especially if that gear adds to the identity or is strongly tied to the identity of the character. So that's my thought on it. So if you are role-playing a character and you want to give him Dragon Bone armor right off the top, I don't see a problem with it. If you're playing on Legendary, you're still going to die all the time. Okay, so I did add some work character. Your character should look a certain way when you're storytelling, so in my mind it isn't cheating. Yeah, I mean, if you're role-playing, you probably shouldn't be thinking about cheating anyway. You should be thinking about the story and living your character's life, right? I try to do both. I do enjoy the challenge of the gameplay on Legendary in this game. But I also enjoy role-playing, so I try to mix the two and try to come up with some cool, novel gameplay style that can work on Legendary, but also try to mix it in with a healthy dose of roleplay. I like them both. So Jagasta is modeled after Cain from the Kung Fu series, and Cain, he had some very simple needs. He needed food, he needed water, he needed some shelter, and he also needed to feel useful through, just labor, work. So Jagasta is going to be the same way. So he has some work clothes that he will use along with his work hat. He's got a pickaxe, he's got an axe, he's ready for labor. Not giving birth labor, but, mining, chopping wood, farming, that kind of thing. I really like this hat. In fact, this hat actually comes from, I think it's like Mists of Pandaria or something, the World of Warcraft expansion, the panda races that wear them. It was kind of the only Asian-style straw hat that I could find. But it works, and I actually think it looks pretty nice with the monk robes as well. I thought about actually changing from the hood to the hat. I think it's kind of a cool look, especially with the monk beads there. But I settled on the hood just because it rounds out the monk look too much, I think. What else do I have? Oh yeah, we have the walking stick for traveling. And he also, that also acts as a shield. So we can block and do our little bash and stuff with it. And we still, get the benefits of the hissing dragon from the Ordinator once we get high enough level there. And I also gave him how do I say that? furoshiki sack. That's kind of his travel pack that he's going to use for his bedroll and everything when he's going from village to village looking for work. So yeah, what else? I did actually see the Nordic armor, Nordic Ranger armor pack, which I was looking for on the Discords. That one looked cool. It looked more like an actual travel pack with like attachments for like your cooking pot and your bedroll and everything. But it was meant for a thicker armor set and kind of stuck out from his back a little bit. Whereas the furoshiki sack from the Samurai Blade armor pack, I think it's called, fits a little better, in my opinion. Okay, so I think I've covered everything that I wanted to cover as far as changes, mod-wise and stuff. But yeah, we have Kung Fu kicks, and we have mysticism. We have all kinds of good stuff. So what time is it now? 9:14. All right, so Jagasta has spent pretty much all of his money. He has 80 gold now. And that will get him through maybe 1 or 2 nights at the inn when he pays for food, because food is super expensive for some reason. So he needs to start looking for some kind of employment. His mind immediately went to this mine here, which the foreman was standing out front when he was running away from the Forsworn encampment and trying to find safety. The foreman was out here saying that there were Draugr in there and not to go in. So Jagasta's plan is to, in the morning, we're going to confront the foreman, and we are going to offer to clear out that mine if he wants to offer us work in that mine. Sounds like a fair deal to Jagasta, and he is sure that the foreman won't object. But as of right now, it's really late, so I think maybe what we'll do is maybe do another hour of spell research on oak flesh this time. So doing the research on scale form mentally exhausted us a little more than what the oak flesh is going to do, because scale form is an apprentice level spell, and our skill level in alteration is only 15 right now. So that is going to... How'd you get the standalone bedroll? Is that part of Campfire? Oh, are you talking about the bedroll on the ground here? That's part of Hunterborn. The bedroll on his back is from the Samurai Blade armor set. Did I miss anything else in there? Always like doing actual labor for gold. Yeah, the mill, the mine, chopping wood. You know, the minimum wage in Skyrim is actually super high. It's ridiculous. I was playtesting this, and I was at a mill chopping wood, and I would chop, let's see, like, I want to say 18 pieces of firewood, and sell it for 90 gold. So, you know, however many seconds or minutes it takes to go through 3 full rounds of the wood chopping animation, and then just turn around and sell it to the guy who's standing right next to the tree stump. Get 90 gold for it. I mean, if I got paid that kind of money, I'd retire by now, right? Hey, Bayofish, good to see you made it. Went through a whole bunch of modding stuff, and was also talking about how some of your characters, especially your Khajiit character, inspired me to go revisit and research a bunch more mods that I could add to flesh out this character. So I don't think I have time to go through them all again, but I'm sure you'll see which ones I've added as we play here. So yeah, that's the plan for Jagasta right now. We're going to do some spell research on our oak flesh because it will mentally exhaust us a little less. We'll do that for another hour. And then we'll sleep off the mental exhaustion so that we're ready for battle in the mine here. Okay, now we're hungry and thirsty. Okay, so that's the other thing, is Jagasta right now is broke, but he's been living on cooked canine and skeever meat for the last few days, and he really needs something else. It looks like we're out of water too, so we might make a run down to the Karth River to fill that up. But before we do that, I think I want to see if I can craft another water skin, just so that we can shore up our supply and we don't have to run down to the river every few minutes filling up our water skin. Yeah, William, I've noticed that in the archives too, is that at the beginning of the stream, the mic audio seems to stutter a bit, but then it seems to level out about 30-40 minutes into it. I don't know what that's about. It's got to be some kind of bitrate thing, I think. It's weird that it doesn't affect the game sound too, though. Okay, so let's see if we can make another water skin here. So yeah, we have the ritual stone, which Unbound gave us randomly, so we get random carcasses dropped on our heads at random periods of time. We also, whenever we enter combat, we might get the help of some of the dead spirits that we encounter on our way. I'm role-playing that as Khanarthi, who is the Khajiit equivalent of Kinnereth, helping him out with some spirits. She has plans for him, I think. Khanarthi is a kindred deity to Alkosh, who Jagasta officially worships, is officially a follower of. And in Khajiit religion, it's Khanarthi, not Arkay, who guides the spirits of the dead to the afterlife. So they're sort of ride Khanarthi's winds to wherever they end up after they're dead. But I think that for whatever reason, Khanarthi has taken a liking to Jagasta, has some plans for him, wants to help him out a little bit here and there, and will drop off willing souls to help him out. But mostly what we've encountered in terms of enemies are skeevers and wolves, so that in turn is mostly what the ritual remembers and what drops on our heads. So that's where I've gotten all of the fur and leather strips and things like that. To the sands behind the moons. Okay, Balefish knows some Khajiit lore, it sounds like. That's good. Maybe I can consult him for some ideas at some point. There we go. Now we're stocked up on water for a little bit. Oh, I've never noticed the Alchemy Bench outside of the Divine Elegance shop here. Nice. Been thinking that Jagasta might take on a little bit of alchemy. Not much, just dabbling here and there. I feel like just sampling different like mushrooms, funguses, and different kind of berries and stuff like that. Sounds reasonable for somebody who's been living on wolf meat for the last 3 or 4 days. Just trying to find something else to sustain himself with. But also, I would imagine back in the monastery of the Gautfang monastery, where he came from, that there was some study of the healing property of certain alchemical ingredients. I would imagine that they did things like burn incense for focus, created some healing salves and stuff from the different plant life around the monastery and stuff. In fact, I think the Shaolin, which the Khajiit martial arts are kind of based off of, they were known as healers as well with this kind of thing. So I'll probably take that on. I'll get a mortar and pestle at some point and do some maybe some healing potions or things. I know with CACO there is a potion, or there's an alchemical effect to boost unarmed damage as well, and I think that would help Jagasta out a lot. Let's see, we're also going to need some dead wood here to restart our fire and keep it going through the night. So we'll do some of that. And it's really late already, so let's get this fire going, and we're going to go to sleep, and then we'll try to get up bright and early in the morning, catch the foreman outside the mine, and solicit him for a job if we can clear out the Draugr for him. Get a solid 8 hours. It's not going to be super early. The foreman will probably already be waiting outside the mine at that point, but that's alright. Ooh, it's foggy. Some ambiance there, huh? Okay, more wolf meat, I suppose. Some water to wash it down. We're going to avoid the wine so early in the morning. Okay, yeah, the foreman's already out and about. Do not worry about the dead body, friend. Yes, about the mine.
I hear talk about a regiment coming to clear the crypts out. We'll see if that happens.
So can you tell Khajiit what happened in the mine?
We tunneled into an old Nordic crypt. The whole place is crawling with Draugr. We're not mining up any ore with those undead around, so I wouldn't go down there if I were you.
Well, my friend, you happen to be in luck. For Jagasta happens to be a traveling monk of the Gout-Fang Claw Dance, and my hands and feet are deadly weapons. I will clear out these deadwalkers for you.
You're joking, right? Those bone walkers will tear you limb from limb. But if you want to get yourself killed, go ahead.
Get myself killed? You do not know the Gout-Fang well, do you? I'm experimenting with the Khajiit voice. Hope it's not too cringy here. Okay, so Jagasta has never fought a Draugr before. He has no idea what he's doing, but he is exhibiting some typical... Oh, am I still... Oh, I'm still researching, that's why. I was like, I should be able to cast Oak Flesh with no problem. So yeah, while you're researching, it actually knocks down your magical pool by 50, which is kind of crippling, especially early game. The Khajiit dialogue overhaul? I might. I mean... if I'm voicing my own character, honestly, I don't know how useful that is. I've seen EJ use it, and it actually is quite accurate. It would help me with the wording on a lot of things. So yeah, I'll consider that. I'll look into it. That might help guide me on how to phrase certain things in a Khajiiti way. Okay, so we're going to cast Oak Flesh just to be prepared here. We're going to pop in our... night vision here because it's really dark. We're gonna get a spectral warhound or something in on the action. Okay, we got some help from a skeever now. And we're out of stamina. Okay, stamina's an issue. Keep in mind I'm playing on Legendary here. Ah, yes. The Deadwalkers cannot handle the Goutfang. Let's try to re-up. We hear another Draugr up there. Re-up our oak flesh. Oops. Yeah, he's up there. I think we can take him one-on-one here. Ah. The Goutfang is strong in this one. Okay, so far we're just seeing a regular old mine. We haven't seen a crypt yet. Ah, okay. Let's see. Before we jump down here, we don't know what we're gonna encounter, so let's armor up. And we'll wait a second for our mana pool to recover, and we'll cast, we'll be able to cast a spectral wolf to help us out here when we get down there. Balefish, are you talking about the animation? The unarmed animation overhaul? It's perfect for this character. I love it. Okay, so I don't want to pop this Spectral I keep wanting to say Spectral Warhound for some reason. The Spectral Wolf just yet because I have an opportunity here to get a sneak attack if I can find the right path. No. Done. Okay, switch back to unarmed and then defensive stance, which gives me the... There we go. Try to regather some of our stamina back. Oh, no, okay. That's not good. Okay, just need him out of the way. We are out of stamina, but we have an archer to deal with here too. Let's go ahead and re-armor. We can use the little bit of magicka that we have to heal up just a little bit. Probably don't need much. Alright, back to defensive stance. Now, it looks like he might be drawn. Oh, no. He doesn't have his bow drawn yet. So I should just be able to run in and bash, kick, punch, punch, punch. Okay. Alright. Yeah, definitely going to have to work on that stamina pool. Oh, Balefish, no, the Khajiiti overhaul, the dialogue overhaul. Yeah, yeah. Staff walking stick combo from mine. It's nothing. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so you don't really use unarmed, right? The one drawback of the unarmed animation overhaul with the kicks and stuff is that it applies to every character, not just a player character. So when you get those drunken barroom brawls that you see from Immersive Worlds encounters, they're just straight up doing like kung fu butterfly kicks and stuff on each other. It's kind of hilarious. Not too immersive to see a Nord and an Orc doing windmills on each other, but it's worth it to get the player character stuff. Okay, Khajiiti senses are tingling here. We have a very obvious lever that is meant to open that gate, I'm sure. But Jagasta also noticed these portholes here, which no doubt will shoot something nasty at you as soon as you throw this lever. So there's probably something hidden that will open this grate, I would think. Here we go. Still not open, so there's another one. Okay, these ancient Nords are nothing if not symmetrical, right? So of course there's one right on the other side. Alright. So we continue through this crypt here. Jagast is feeling pretty good about himself. He's just taken on 2, 3, what about 6 or 7 Draugr by himself. Okay, so he hears the Draugr on the other side of this door. Let's head back down here, re-up our armor. Wait a second so that we can petition Khanarthi for another Spirit of the Wolf here. That's how I'm going to take this conjuration path that was given to us by Unbound as well. So the conjured spirits that we can cast will also come from Khanarthi as well. Okay, we're ready. You'll notice that I didn't quick save, and I'm doing that on purpose. Just so you know. Okay, they're engaged with the wolf. Take cover. Oh, not good enough cover. We got 2 archers. This is bad. Let's see if we can funnel them back through the doorway here. Okay, interestingly, TK dodge does not avoid traps, apparently. You roll over the top of them, they will still trigger, it looks like. Okay, they don't want to come. Maybe casting an armor spell will... Oh, there they go. Oh, he got me before I could dodge out of the way there. Okay, let's try to buy some space here. See how powerful that bash is just because it's so fast? The speed and stagger combo is just unbelievably powerful. And just so you believe me here, I am playing at legendary difficulty. That bash makes all the difference in the world. Playtesting without it is, it was just unbelievably difficult. Trying to do an unarmed playthrough on legendary. I like to stick at legendary just because it gets me to think harder about the playstyle and how it relates to the character. It makes you think about your character's relationship with the world on a mechanical level, and just anything that gets you to think more about your character and the part that he plays in the game. I think is good from a roleplay perspective, in my opinion. Oh, Khajiiti's senses are tingling again. There's another trap. Okay, I smell an ambush here. Okay, we got fireballs. Where is that fireball coming from? Okay, the fireball is coming from the totem, and the totem already sees us. Let's throw a spectral wolf out there just to get things going. Wait for the fireball. There we go. And we'll go out. Okay, so we're fighting on 2 fronts here. We gotta dodge these fireballs, or fire bolts, I guess, and also try to defeat this Draugr Overlord. Oh, he took us out on one side. Okay. And I didn't quick save. Because I'm running Death Alternative. So basically, after you run out of health, you get sent into this bleed out state. If you can survive this bleed out state for a predefined amount of time, you will actually recover with very little health. Obviously, that's not going to happen. So then, if you get killed again while you're in the bleed out state, then you're going to black out, and then a certain random scenario will happen. Okay, see ya, Enigma. Thanks for dropping by. So now, what scenario are we going to get here? Okay, so it sounds like it just dropped us right back in the same spot here, which is not good. Oh, okay, no, we're good. Yeah, Scotty recently switched to alternate death alternative. Yeah, it's really awesome. So this is actually kind of funny. So in this scenario, the Draugr of this crypt, they dressed us up like a Draugr. So they took all of our armor and all of our gear off, dressed us in Draugr style stuff because they expected us to be resurrected as one, I guess. So this should be fun. Okay. So yeah, we're dying. This is not good. So they put us... Sorry, I have to cheat. They put us in the exact wrong position for this because the totems are onto our little game here. Usually, when I've play tested this has put me back at the beginning of this mine. And since the Draugr think you are one of them, they won't attack you. But that doesn't apply to those weird totems up there. So, sorry, I had to cheat. But that's because I was silly enough not to have a backup quick save, I guess. Because I was trusting Death Alternative a little more than I should have. So let's go ahead and heal up the best we can. Do I still have God mode on? There we go. I was wondering why my magical pool wasn't running out. And we might have a head injury too, which is why the magical pool is not replenishing, and that's part of Wildcat, the injury system. So we're gonna have to hightail it out of here. Do you have deferred kill on in the DA MCM? No, I'll have to look at that once I get out of here. Okay, here we go. Run. Okay. So Jagasta here is... I'll go ahead and quick save here though, just so we have a backup now. Jagasta is in for a shameful experience here. Oh, we disappeared. Quick save, quick load. This is a recurring problem I have in this load order, is that both my player model and the NPC models sometimes will just vanish. They're still there, they're just invisible. So yeah, Jagasta's feeling pretty ashamed of himself right about now. He came on strong to the foreman here with a lot of confidence, saying that he was going to be able... Yeah, don't pay attention to that body. You don't want to know. By the way, Jagasta knows he is not wearing his beautiful robes. Not a word. Not a word. I will manage this, I promise. So Jagasta now has to think about a solution to this. He's still broke. He still needs a job. He doesn't want to continue eating wolf meat. But he remembers from the first episode that he met an orc in the Old Hold Inn, who said that she works for what she kills. She loots what she kills, and that's her payment. She doesn't accept payment up front because it's a flat fee. She ends up making more money off the stuff that she loots, and this is ideal for Jagasta because he has no money, but he needs help. Oh, how embarrassing, yes. Shameful experience. This reminds me of a lesson my master once taught me back in Elsewhere. That with great shame usually comes a great lesson. And in fact, some of the greatest lessons come with a healthy amount of shame. Jagasta definitely feels the shame right now. Walking around in these old Dead Walker clothing. Everybody sees that he has failed. So what is the lesson to be learned here? I think maybe the lesson to be learned here is that every situation should be approached from a place of humility. Had Jagasta been more humble about the situation, he may have been able to realize before it was too late that he needed help. And there is only one person Jagasta can think of right now that can help, and that is the Kisi Orc from the inn. That will be even more shameful, but if Jagasta has to kiss the orc in order to get her to help me, then so be it. Oh, looks like we're over our injury here because we're getting our mana back, or our magicka back. What time is it, by the way? Okay, it's not even noon. Jeez, it's been a long morning for Jagasta, yeah? Oh, packet lost. Thanks. I'm working on it. It's a work in progress, but I'm glad you're enjoying it. Oh, this fog is thick, yes? Let's try to get healed up. I'll get out of your way. Pay no attention to the glowing Khajiiti in the Draugr armor. Oh, this is so embarrassing. My beautiful robes. I need to get them back.
Come on in. Just stoke the fire. Take a seat and get the coal.
Okay, we're about to see some kung fu fighting here. Oh, starting off with the butterfly kick and the roundhouses. I don't know what that was. Okay, looks like that one guy's got some weapon animations. Oh, another butterfly kick. Oh, hello, Kisi Orc. You are just the person I wanted to see.
You hired me, and you hired the best.
So what is the deal with the fee?
Maybe because I'm not stupid. You see, these mercs take a job for 500 seconds flat. Just because that's the way it's always been. Some of these mammoth brains even do a second job on the house.
Why do you think this is?
Beats me. Whenever I ask why, they tell me to shut my apple pie hole. It's 500 gold because that's the way it's always been. Seems to me that's the stupidest reason I ever heard in my entire life. And I knew Chief Yamar's, so I've heard some stupid things come out of an orc's mouth.
This one does not know this Chief Yamar's, but he sounds like quite the oaf. What if someone were to offer you more gold up front?
No, I keep what I kill. You can have whatever other treasure you can get your hands on. That's the deal. Although I don't plan on keeping everything, mind you, just the valuable stuff.
This sounds like a decent business strategy. You sound like a shrewd orc, provided you know what is valuable.
I know what's valuable. Jewels, orichalcum, nirnroot. In any case, I'll know it when I see it.
Okay, this is acceptable to Jagasta. Jagasta is not interested in the treasure. He only wants a job with the foreman. So, why don't you follow me? I have a job that you would be perfect for, I think.
My mace hand's getting twitchy.
Now, as you can see, I have actually outfitted Duraz here, aka the Kissy Orc, with some custom armor. This one comes from, I think it's called the Adventurers Mashup for UNP, and I thought that it fit her like perfectly.
Let's make sure to spend more time smashing heads and less time.
I also gave her a spiked mace, I believe it's called, it's like somewhat realistic Viking armor, or Viking weapons and armor. Just because she talks about using a mace and stuff like that, and I wanted to give that to her.
I don't get what it means.
I also wanted to give her a shield to use, like a badass, like big, heavy spiked shield or something, but I think that the armor mashup that I've equipped her with uses a slot that doesn't allow a shield. I tried to equip her with one, and she wouldn't equip it, so I don't know what's going on. I tried to reset like her combat style and everything to force a sword and a shield, but she was being stubborn about it. At the end of the day, I would rather have that armor set on her than the shield anyway, so that works. And then with signature equipment, that will level up along with her as long as she wears it. Oh, hello.
Oh, did you need something?
Yes, don't mind the Draugr armor. I am actually a Khajiit, not a Draugr. Well, this one wears a lot of war paint. You must be a great warrior, yes? Excuse me, great warrior, have you heard any rumors lately?
Have you seen that shrine of Azura? They say the Dark Elves built it after they fled from Morrowind. Sight to see.
Shrine of Azura. Khajiit knows this Azura. She is friend to his people. I shall go pay my respects at some point. Thank you, great warrior. So listen, there are some things that you need to know about this job. We are going to be heading into a deep, dark crypt, so I hope you can see well in the dark. The other thing is that the mine itself is off limits for your treasure. I am sorry, but there is not much of value in the mine itself anyway. Deeper down in the mine is a Nordic crypt, an old one, and that does have quite a bit of treasure that you are free to help yourself to. Jagasta does not care for treasure. He only wants employment. He wishes to earn his keep through manual toil. Also, please do not think less of Khajiit for needing help. Khajiit actually did get through several of these deadwalkers on his own, using his own hands and feet and nothing else. Impressive, yes? But the Draugr in the very deepest depths of this crypt is quite tough, and he seems to be getting some help from some magical totems that shoot fireballs at Khajiit and also heal the Draugr. This is where I need you to come in. We need to deal more damage, and I need you to be able to distract this deadwalker while Jagasta jumps around trying to dodge the fireballs from the totem. Does this sound agreeable to you? I will take your awkward silence as affirmation. So yeah, growing up in the monastery and elsewhere, Jagasta was taught that earning one's keep through manual labor is a noble pursuit. That working for one's food and water and shelter is actually a big part in leading a balanced life. So he's not prone to the same sticky-fingered greed as many Khajiit tend to be attracted to. So there's that. I will loot enchanted items just because the way that I have honed metals set up, the enchanters that you can commission to enchant your gear, they don't know any enchantments, and that's so that I can teach them enchantments based on the enchanted items that I find out in the world, and that's to get the Winter Mist expanded enchantments sort of added to their enchantment pools that they can add to Jagasta's gear later on. So I'm just going to kind of role play it that he's not really interested in looting much, but that looting these enchanted items, well, that's really dark even for, I wonder. Yeah, okay. So somewhere in the death alternative stuff, it left the ENB off, but the night vision reset somehow. But yeah, he's going to loot the enchanted stuff, and that's not going to be canon. I'm just going to pretend like it didn't happen. As you can see, Khajiiti is quite adept with his hands and feet. All these deadwalkers have been slain at my Goutfang technique. So this one is not completely useless, I assure you. Watch out for this trap too, by the way. Yes, good job. It appears as if Orc can see in the dark just fine. Not as good as Khajiit, maybe, but she is finding her way around without too much issue. Okay. We must prepare for this battle. It is a tough one. You can hear the firebolts coming from the totem. Jagasta must make some preparations here. This armor is too heavy, so I am going to remove the helmet and the boots. This will keep me mobile so that I can worry about the firebolts while you worry about the Draugr. You will not be alone in fighting this Deadwalker. I can petition Khanarthi for a wolf to help you out. Kissy Orc, I need your help. Where are you?
Come on, let's see if you know how to use that thing.
She's getting hung up on the terrain. Oh, jeez. Alright. We got him in a choke point. I gotta use a potion. More shame. Get in there, Kissy Orc. The totems will not attack you. They seem hell-bent on killing Jagasta instead. Oh, jeez. Okay, so that shout is actually doing quite a bit of damage to us here. Uh-oh. That's bad. I should have quick saved. Okay. Is it missing me? Oh, no. Alright, so at least we can load back up at the entrance to the cave. And start back there. Oh, no, we're not doing that again. Ouchies is right, William. Oh. I will take Jagasta's advice here, and I will approach this situation with more humility now. And I will quick save right before that fight. I think I'm having a streamer's curse. When I play tested this, I was able to get through that no problem with the help of Duras. Okay, here we go. Where is my kissy orc now? She got hung up on the terrain again. Not as light-footed as Khajiiti, yes. Oh, I wonder if she didn't follow me down the hole. That's okay. I feel like I can summon her. There she is. Okay, let's get prepped up again here. Nope, I need to take off the boots and the helmet. I don't know how much the wolf actually helped. It did help aggro, I guess. I'm wondering if... Oh, you know what? I should probably... I can't wait while enemies nearby. I'm debating whether or not to use my magicka for oak flesh. Yeah, the health gen on the Draugr was too much. We need to do more damage. So that leads me to think that the spectral wolf was a better call than going for armor. I can dodge the fire bolts if I'm concentrating on it. Just gotta stay vigilant there. Okay, so okay, we'll get in there once the fireball gets in there. Here we go. Okay, Duras is engaging immediately now, which is good. Okay, we got another firebolt coming. Here we go. Get in a few cheap shots while we can. Got to save our stamina for dodging, though. Here we go.
I'm gonna make you wish you stayed dead.
Go. Okay. We're making some headway here. Oh. There we go. Alright. And killing the Death Lord actually deactivates the totems, so... Whew, there we go. I'm sweating. That was a big fight. Okay, Kisi Orc. You have earned your choice of treasure. And do not worry about being respectful of these dead. The only reason that they are still walking is because they were either forsaken by Khenarthi, or they have forsaken Khenarthi. And either scenario is not a respectable one. So do not feel the need to honor these dead by keeping their belongings intact, yes? Okay. Now, let us go... Oh yeah, the non-canon enchanting stuff here. No enchanted stuff there, so we kind of struck out. This guy usually has an enchanted item on him. Okay. I feel like the first Death Lord that you encounter in any area is always the same cold enchantment, yeah? Yes, William, that's how we're going to play it. He had a vision of how not to do it. I'm taking a play out of Gopher's book on that one. Iron Sword of Sapping. I was kind of hoping to find some enchanted armor in that boss chest, but alas. The enchanted weapons aren't really going to do Jugasa any good because obviously he doesn't carry weapons, but still won't mind adding them to the pool here. You did well, Kissy Orc. You have earned any of the treasures that you found worth your while in there. What say you after I report back to the foreman that we go back to the inn and have a drink for celebration, yes? Oh, of course not. Oh! You know what? I forgot to grab my stolen gear. I'm not going to be wearing this Draugr armor for the rest of it. So yeah, Death Alternative actually does a great job of adding quests to... And it looks like I need to get back in there. How about this? I don't think there's a way to get up there normally, so I'm just going to float. How about that? Yeah, Death Alternative does a good job of adding quests around the scenarios that it puts you in. For this one, the quest is to get your stolen gear back. Usually it's placed in one of these urns here. Yep, there it is. Stolen gear. So now we get our beautiful monk robes back. That's the Jagasta we know and love, yeah? Yes, as I was saying, Kissy Orc, what say you we go back to the inn and have a celebratory drink? The Nords here have a drink called mead that apparently is sweet and also helps you get your buzz on, yes?
Yeah?
This sounds right up Khajiit's alley. So yeah, for the most part, mission complete. Yes, Simpa, Final Fantasy VII victory music. I know it well. Oh yeah, I should take a look at that. Turn that night eye off.
We're keeping the mine closed until that crypt is clear.
Take a look at the deferred death that Scotty's talking about. It sounds like he has some experience with it. Foreman.
Still plenty of ore left in that mine. What a waste.
Not a waste at all. With the help of my friend here, we have cleared out the deadwalkers that have been plaguing your operation.
You did? We were waiting for the Jarl to send an entire regiment to clear that mine.
Well, you
Now
know.
we can get back to work. Thank you.
You are welcome.
Until next
And
time.
I can join you in said work tomorrow, maybe, yes? We'll take that as an affirmative response. Oh yeah, I also forgot that I did add an immersion mod called Simply Knock. So this is locked up now. If there were people in there, they would answer the door, and we could go in and ask them about the mine or whatever. It was not Jagasta, I assure you. That was Kenarthi. She means well, but she leaves a mess. So, yeah, we're no longer broke. We have 500 gold that the foreman gave us for clearing out the mine. So I think Jagasta's first priority here is going to be going back to the inn, buying some good food to fill his furry belly with. After 3 days of eating nothing but wolf meat and sampling different fungi from the area, he's definitely in the need of a good meal and probably a strong drink. So head back down to Old Hroldon, I think. I really love the fog I'm running Obsidian Weathers and NVT, Natural View Tamriel, ENB. The fog is just really thick and it really sets a cool mood and ambiance. Very eerie.
If you drink too much, you're out. No drunks.
Take a seat and get the cold out.
Oh yeah, his levitation meditation. Yeah, that's exactly what he did, William. We're staying lore friendly here. Okay, so first priority is to get some good food
Do you
here.
think the ghost is one of Tiber Septim's dead men? You'll be looking to rent Tiber Septim's room, I take it?
No, I already rented Tiber Septim's room, and that's when the ghost appeared. But the ghost actually mentioned a Hjalti. I don't know if that has anything to do with Tiber Septim.
Hjalti? I never heard of anyone named Hjalti. Tiber Septim had many names. Maybe that's one of them.
Maybe. Khajiit knows who Tiber Septim is, of course, founder of the Empire, but he does not know much about Tiber Septim's history. Tiber Septim's room, is that what I stayed in?
That's right. In the Second Era, Tiber Septim himself led the army that conquered Old Hroldon from the barbarians of the Reach. Septim would later found the empire that united Tamriel, but his first known battle and victory was right here. And this inn has the very bed the great general slept in on his first night as old Ralden's liberator, as good as it was hundreds of years ago.
So, Khajiit has slept in legendary bed, yes? Perhaps I will do this again. The ghost over there, he is looking for his sword.
Sword? I remember a legend that Tiber Septim had attacked one of the enemy camps before he came to Old Ralden. It could be there. I'll mark it down on your map.
Okay, so this actually gives us direction for completing the ghost's quest. I remember from the first episode or so, it didn't give us like a map marker or anything, so we were kind of clueless as to where to go to fix the situation. But this actually gives us some great direction for the future of Jagasta, I think, at least in the near term. What do you have for sale? Good food and strong drink, yes?
Take a look.
Okay. We're definitely going to need some bread. We haven't had fiber in a long time. We're definitely going to shell out for the good mead. We'll do some Blackbriar. We'll take a couple bottles of that. Cooked carrots? Yeah, why not? Ooh, fish. Khajiit loves fish. Some cream, something sweet to add to the savory, yes. More bread. A sweet treat to have after this big meal. Some mud crab legs. I have heard good things. I have not tried them yet, though. Especially steamed in this way. Nice and buttery, yes. What else? Looking for something a little more hearty, like a hot stew or chowder. I wonder if one of your wenches has something available, yes? If we can find one. What, is she on her break or something? Oh, there she is. I also got rid of the annoying the noise, the spell sound that gets played whenever I switch to and from night vision. That's a setting in Predator Vision. What is on the menu?
Depends. Are you thirsty? Hungry? Both.
Both, definitely both. Oh, the beef stew, that sounds very good. Clam chowder, yes please. Pheasant stew, that sounds delightful. I'm actually getting hungry. Does that happen to anybody else? You're going through trying to figure out what your character wants to eat, what they would like, and then you start really considering how some of this stuff would taste, and then you start getting hungry yourself. That's happening to me right now. Might have to grab a snack or something. Okay, so Jagasta went a little hog wild on the menu here. We're almost broke again. We're almost down to prepayment level economic status here. But at least we'll have a full belly. We won't have to eat wolf or skeever tonight. We won't have to sleep in the rain either. Which reminds me, let's go ahead and rent out Tiber Septim's room.
Old Ralden is the stone that the Empire's history is built on.
You are quite proud of this place, yes? I would like to rent Tiber Septim's room.
Have a good rest. It's the big room with the double bed.
Yes, I have stayed there before. About that, I know where the room is. You don't have to show me, thank you.
I understand.
Alright, Kissy Orc. I have learned a lesson of shame today, and in order to perpetuate that lesson, I have decided to give you what you wanted, and that is to know what it is like to kiss a person, yes? So, have at it, but please do watch the whiskers, yes? Oh my. That one was for the wind. That's my Khajiiti George Takei voice. This one is surprised that it was not as unpleasant as he thought. Oy, I do not think I will ever look at an orc the same way again. I need a drink. Okay, so we're gonna get filled up. We're gonna spend some time eating, drinking, and being merry. Oh, slurp, definitely slurping. Between Duraz's tusks and Jagasta's whiskers and fangs here, that was going to be one sloppy kiss, I assure you. So we're going to go ahead and have a little conversation with the Kissy Orc here. So Kissy Orc, you handled yourself quite well in battle. Where did you learn to fight?
I grew up in an orc stronghold. That good enough for you?
Oh, come on, we share the keys, but you cannot share your history. Where, may I ask, do you come from?
Kynesgrove, little town in East March. You probably never heard of it, but it's practically an Ulfric's kitchen.
Kynesgrove, eh? So, how is life in the stronghold different from Kynesgrove?
Better to ask how it's not. Go ahead, ask me.
Okay. How are they not different then?
Well, they both got people living in it. That's pretty much it.
So then why would you leave Kynesgrove for the stronghold, if in fact that is what you did?
Alright. If you want the truth, I didn't go to Larderspur out of choice. My father forced me to. He didn't want me to grow up some milk drinker like him, and he started getting this idea in his head that the orc way was the only way. After everything my mother did to get our family out of that backwards mess, he goes and screws it all up.
You know, I gotta say, I kind of agree with Jagasta here. She is an orc, but she's not all that bad looking, is she? I think I'm slowly falling in love with her the more I talk with her. Don't tell my wife that. She's probably listening to me right now outside the door, but that's okay. We'll work through it. So, you said you grew up in Kynesgrove, but didn't you say you grew up in an orc stronghold?
What? You saying someone can't grow up in two different places?
No, but please do explain.
I spent my childhood in Kynesgrove, and when I was big enough, I went down to Larderspur to train. At first, I wasn't sure if they'd take me. They asked me to brawl this real skinny female named Ugor. With the broomstick she called arms, I thought she was a maid. The egg was on my face when she knocked me from Frostfall to Sun's Dusk. They respected my will, though. Kept getting up and asking for seconds. Long story short, they took me in, trained me, made me the warrior I am.
Sounds like a trial by fire, yes? You were forged by the Crucible, much like Jagasta. This one has taken his fair share of beatings back at the monastery in elsewhere, that is for sure. So your father was a traditionalist, even though he was from Kynesgrove, yes?
That's one way of putting it. I say he was obsessed. Like he lost a part of his heritage by growing up a farmer. You can almost tell how embarrassed he was when some orc sellsword came by the inn. Or even worse, someone from the stronghold. Actually, almost isn't the right word. It was written all over his face. Shame.
I know a great deal about shame lately, so I can relate. I imagine he didn't react well, yes?
Well, at first he tried to make himself a warrior. Spent all our savings on blunted swords and worthless piece of armor. Eventually, he realized he was better off putting his energy into me. But the Stormcloaks aren't exactly opening doors to those who aren't their kind. Orcs don't exactly live long lives, and he was running out of time. So he drops me off in that cursed stronghold like some piece of scrap meat for the hounds.
Sounds like a twisted orcish view of original sin, the shame that comes along with that. So how did your mother come to leave the stronghold then?
My mother was a proud woman, and she wasn't gonna abide by their stupid traditions. She was nobody's third wife. Only the chief wasn't the type who takes no for an answer. Got brains as thick as Charis shells, these stronghold orcs. Which wouldn't be so bad if they didn't have the morals of a Charis too.
Yes, the subjectification of women is quite shameful if you ask Jagasta. So, what did she do?
She ran. Took off the night before her wedding. Had a cousin who stood guard and was willing to die for her. Probably did. After that, she settled down in Kynes Grove. That's where she met my father, one of the orcs who worked the farms. She died giving birth to her first child. Me.
I hope you know that this is not your fault, Kisi Orc. So given your family history, I take it you did not get along well with the chief.
Mars? Yeah, I don't know if he was chief when Mother left, but if he was anything like that coward, I can see why she did. That poor fool didn't even bother to stop me as I walked out of the front gate. He was too scared I'd actually fight back.
So why can Yamars not be replaced? It sounds like he needs to be.
He can. All it takes is someone to challenge him, but it has to be a male or else I'd be chief myself.
This is too bad. I can see why you left. From what I know of you and what I've heard of him, you would make a much greater leader than he. So now that we are done in the mind, where will your adventures take you next, Kisi Orc?
I hear Markarth has this mine that's worked on by inmates. I don't get that. Seems to me all I'd do is dig a hole right to the surface.
You want to visit Markarth for that?
And
Well,
when
okay.
it follows to the
Your
depths,
path is your own,
don't
Kisi
make a
Orc.
habit of inviting it.
I will leave you to it. Thank you again. Perhaps I will see you again sometime. I hope that we do meet.
I was getting sick of your face anyway.
That was a nice sentiment. Probably because Jigasta's face was mashed up against her face for so long. I would probably be sick of it too, if I am being honest. So, I think that Jagasta will continue to stuff himself silly until he gets sleepy enough to sleep for the night. Let's see, he liked the pheasant stew, but I think we're going to go for some seafood flavored stuff with some steamed mud crab legs and some clam chowder. We're going to go ahead and eat that honey nut treat. Oh yeah, we have to try the... Oh, did we not buy any meat? Oh yeah, we did. We bought the Blackbriar stuff. I was looking for Nord meat. I think that Jagasta would quite like the meat, especially the name brand stuff here. It's probably going to become a habit of his when he can afford it. One more swig of the water just to get nice and hydrated before we go to bed. Excuse me. Jagasta's normal routine, I think, would be to perform some spell research to try to level up his spell skills a little bit, but I think after the experience that he just had, the near-death experience that he just had in the mine, and all of the food and alcohol that he has in his stomach at present, he probably would not be up for it. So, sticking with roleplay over power, I'm going to go ahead and put Jagasta to bed. We're going to get a strong 8 hours of sleep, and we'll get started early in the morning at our new exciting job opportunity at Solyan's Mind. Soljand? Solyand? Does the soft J sound only come into effect at the beginning of the word, or is that also at the end too? Does anybody know? Simpo, you're from Sweden, right? I think some of the language might have some similarities there. I don't know. Just a thought. Oh, I wanted to actually get changed out into the oh, the dialogue mod. That is that's an older mod that I don't know that's up anymore. It's called like face-to-face conversation or something like that. It got replaced with a newer cinematic dialogue overhaul. I don't remember the name of it, but it was featured on Bro Duel recently. It's more of a third-person thing. But yeah, I think it's pretty immersive. It kind of helps connect you to the character that you're talking to. And you can kind of focus on their facial expressions and things like that. Yeah, I wanted to get changed into our work clothes at the hotel or at the inn, but that's alright. We can do it out here. There's nobody looking. Simple face-to-face conversation. Yes, I think that is it. Is that still available? I remember the person that was working on it stopped and he was unreachable, so their alternate conversation camera is the one I was talking about that Bradul featured, but Simple Face-to-Face is the one that I'm using. I think it was recently rewritten because the original author couldn't be contacted. But it's functional now, I believe. I might actually, the next time I kind of overhaul, reinstall Skyrim and redo my load order and stuff, I might switch to the hosted user account is closed. Yeah. I might actually switch to the alternate conversation camera. It's just a little bit more of a cinematic look, and since I spend a lot of time in third person just to try to get to know my character, I feel like I get to know the character better if I can see the character more so than if I'm like in first person view with the character. I don't know. It's a subtle change, and it's heavily subjective. Excuse me. Just depends on what you like better. Okay, it's very early in the morning here. But Jugasta's a go-getter, so I think we'll see if we can get them to let us in and get started on our job. Tuthur, it is Jigasta, the Moonpuss. May I come in? Great immersion mod. Simply Knock. Highly recommended. Pretty lightweight, doesn't really conflict with much of anything. Except for the lock overhaul, which I'm not using with this playthrough because I would rather have access to the Ordinator perks for lockpicking if we decide to go that route. Foreman, I know you are sleeping, but the day is new and I would like to get to work. Will you provide water by any chance as I work in the mine?
Of course.
Thank you very much, Foreman. I will be busy in the mine if you need me. Oh, and we'll need our pickaxe as well, right? Simply Knock is a must-have in your LOs. Right. You have used alternate conversation camera, the wind? Yeah. And I don't... he hasn't been active lately, but See You Later actually used that in his content that he had up on YouTube, his merchant playthrough, which was very interesting, and I thought it did a great job. And it's the simple face-to-face mod is great, but it gets a little wonky when the character, the NPC you're trying to talk to, is moving around. Sometimes it swings around in weird ways, and sometimes it gets left off in weird areas, weird orientations. And the alternate conversation camera mod does not seem to have that issue, from what I've seen anyway. I would say if you tend to play mostly in first-person view, that the simple face-to-face mod is probably more suited to your playstyle. But if you tend to play more in third-person, like I do, the alternate camera is probably better. Oh, you're talking about the face-to-face versus alternate camera, Simpa? There's just an I and a DLL, but no SKSE scripts. Yeah. I might just grab it. It might be a little... it might be worth it for this playthrough. I'll throw it in a test profile, see if it... just make sure it doesn't bug anything out, and if it works well, then maybe I'll add it for this one. Ooh, what is this book? Yonabret's Last Dance. Is this one of the books that the miners pass around to pass the time in between? Ooh, light armor. This is very useful for Khajiiti. So maybe we'll do a reading of that a little later here. Huh? So yeah, I imagine at this point Jagasta... Oh, alternate by itself. Yeah, I mean, I would imagine that the simple face-to-face conversation mod is safe to remove as well. I can't imagine that any of that actually changes game state at all. So it shouldn't ruin your mod or your save file by removing it. So yeah, I think Jagasta at this point would spend a few days working through this mine, mining the moonstone here and selling it for his keep. I think that he would also be invited into the mining house. I don't think that they had a bunk available for him, but I think he would be more than happy just spreading out his bedroll on the floor in the mining house to get out of the rain anyway. And I think that we saw some more veins down in here as well. And then, you know, once the mine is sort of depleted and Jagasta has the money and supply to move on and find the next village, the next job, the next adventure, that he will. Don't think that there were any veins in the actual crypt portion until we got to the very end. So, since this is modeled off the old Kung Fu series, actually, interestingly, they were very limited with what they could do with the action scenes in that. So, that show had, like, one sort of light Kung Fu fight in every episode. And other than that, it was just Kane, you know, wandering, having interactions with people, learning things from people, and just traveling from place to place, seeing what kind of, not trouble that he could get into, but things that he could learn. And he's kind of looking for his half-brother at points and avoiding bounty hunters at other points. But I guess the point is that it wasn't an overly action-centric show, and I actually don't see this series being overly action-centric too. I really want to focus on the lessons that he's learning as he's going, and also the lessons that he's learned back in the monastery. So that that shame lesson that he learned when he got obliterated by that Death Lord at the end of this dungeon here. I think that lesson that he learned about approaching every situation from a place of humility will become a theme throughout the rest of the series, and we'll see what other kinds of lessons that he can learn throughout his journeys. So with that, I think we're just about ready to wrap this up. I think I don't know. Should I do a reading of the Yornabret's Last Dance in Jagasta's voice? Oh, it's gonna be terrible. It's gonna be awful. I think it would be a fun and funny way to kind of cap off the stream, though. So let's do it. The light armor skill book kind of seems like it would be something that Jagasta would be interested in, seeing as how, you know, he pretty much specializes in light armor for both his offense and his defense. So we'll see what kind of lessons we can glean from this, I suppose. We already got a skill level up for it. Okay, so this seems like a song, which is going to be even more terrible. Okay, Khajiiti sees that this book is not just a story, but a song, yes? This starts with the women's verse. Every winter season, except for the reason, one war or another, really quite a bother. The Queen of Riemann and her consort. How do you like my Khajiiti woman voice? Request their vassals come and cavort on each and every ball. The first man at the hall is Lord Ogun Yornabret of Gaer. The curse of our the maidens fair. Oh, that women's verse was rough on Khajiiti's throat, yes? And then the women's refrain. Oh, dear ladies, beware. Dearest, dearest ladies, take care. There he's a very handsome man. If you dare to take his handsome hand, the nasty little spell will be cast, and your first dance with him will be last. Alright, and then we move on to the male verse. So now I have to deepen the voice box a bit. At this social event, everyone who went knew the bows and stances, and steps to all the dances. The Queen of Riemann and her consort would order a trumpet's wild report, and there could be no indecision, as the revelers took position. The first dance only, ladies, separate, away from such men as Lord Yornabret. Oh, dear fellows, explain. Brothers, can you help make it plain? The man's been doing this for years, leaving maidens fair in tears, before the final tune's been blast, and her first dance with him will be the last. Lord Ogun Yornabret of Gaer, watch the ladies dance on air, the loveliest in the realm, a fellow in a ursine hide helm, said the Queen of Riemann and her consort, have put together quite a sport. Which lady fair do you prefer? Lord Yornabret pointed, her. See that bosom bob and weave, oh my, well suited for me to love and leave. Back to the woman's refrain. I am not going to do this again. Men's verse 2. The man in the mask of a bear had to leave Lord of Gaer, or had left the Lord of Gaer, before the ladies' dance was ending. Then a trumpet sounded, portending that the Queen of Riemann and her consort called for the men to come to court, disdainful passing over all the rest. Ogun approached she of bobbing breast. She was rejected, save a life of woe, for a new maiden as fair as snow. Then the next women's verse. Right, exactly, right? The easiest book. At the first note of the band, the beauty took Ogun's hand. She complimented his stately carriage, dancing to the tune about the marriage of the Queen of Riemann and her consort. It is very difficult indeed to comport, with the grace neither falling nor flailing, wearing ornate hide and leather mailing, dancing light as the sweetest of dreams, without a single squeak of the seams. So that's where the light armor lesson comes in, I think. Men's verse 3. The rhymes rose and fell, no one dancing could excel. With masculine grace and syncopation, Lord Yonabret even drew admiration from the Queen of Remen and her consort. Like a beauteous vessel pulling into port, he silently slid, belying the leather's weight. She whispered girlishly, "The hour is late, but I've never seen such grace and hide armor." 'Twas a pity he knew he had to harm her. Then the women's verse. The tune beat was furious. He began to be curious. Where had the maiden been sequestered before this dance was requested by the consort and his queen of Remen? I didn't see you dance with the women. My dress was torn as I came to the dance, she said, smiling in a voice as a man's. My maids worked quickly to repair, while I wore a suit of hide, a helm of a bear. Khajiit does not know what the hell this thing means. So, was Yonabret the guy in the hide armor and then became the woman at the end? Or was he the be-busted beauty the whole time? These Nord art will never make sense to Khajiit, I am afraid. Get rid of this book. Maybe somebody else can make better use of it. Khajiit is confused. Although he did sound very graceful in that hide armor, yes? Okay. I hope I hope that my shame in reading all that was somebody else's joy. I really do. I'm going to watch this later and just laugh at myself, so I hope you got a good laugh out of it as well. Anyway, on that note, I think I am going to call this a stream. The next one, I think we actually have some good direction now. We do have a location for the sword that this ghost back in Old Hroldan is looking for. And I think that Jagasta would be quite interested in helping this ghost out, seeing as he is quite close with Khanarthi. He would want to help this ghost get to the sands beyond the moons, I think, as Baelfish described. So I think that's going to be the next priority. And then later on after that, maybe go to check out this Shrine of Azura. Azura is actually a major deity in Khajiiti culture. And as such, I think Jagasta would have quite an interest in paying his respects to her via this shrine. This also gives us the opportunity to pass through Windhelm, where I have actually made my own little mod to make Scouts Many Marshes there, a master level light armor trainer, so that I don't actually have to join the Dark Brotherhood guild with Jagasta to gain access to master level training for that. Also, I have added Silda, the Unseen. I have made her a master level trainer as well. So that I don't have to go through the whole Thieves Guild stuff in order to get access to master level training for that. Pickpocketing is something that I'm going to play with a little bit later. Sort of a stretch goal for this character is, and his playstyle, is to be able to sneak up on an unsuspecting enemy, steal, pickpocket their weapon, disarm them, and then use that weapon against them. Or just use his, his lethal hands and feet on them, now that they're defenseless and can't swing a weapon back at them. Force a hand-to-hand combat situation. Thought there was one other thing that I want to mention, but it's not coming to me right now. At least it wasn't Lift Her Tails. Lifts her tails. Yeah. Come to think of it, though, that might be quite the front to distract her victims while she picks their pockets, though, right? So yeah, I think Jagasta will spend a couple days here. Oh, I forgot. We forgot to turn in our moonstone here. See how much money we've made. See how well it'll fund our journey going forward. Hello, Foreman.
Mining out this old rock is a lot quieter now. Thank the divines.
Or thank the Jagasta, yes. I have moonstone ore to sell you. You'll buy everything we've dug up. 510. Okay, that's pretty good. 510 gold goes a long way for Jagasta. He is quite self-sufficient out in the wild, as we've seen. He's been feeding on wolves and mushrooms and things like that. As long as he's not binging on food and drink, we can stretch that out quite a ways. So yeah, I think that's it. Thank you for joining me again on another stream. I'm looking forward to the next one already and continuing Jagasta's story, and I'm also looking forward to seeing you there as well. But until then, take care of yourself. Bye.